So fall of 1988 was a very important time for me in my life. I had met the woman that would eventually become my wife. I got my first job working in television production, and that job came with health insurance. And with health insurance, you have to choose a primary care physician. So being a 22-year-old man who was lazy, rather than choosing based on recommendations or based on credentials, I picked the one that lived closest to my house. And the first time that I needed to go see him, I was shaving one morning before work, and I noticed I had this lump, kind of like where my ear and jaw come together. It was something I'd never seen before, and I was like, I get this checked out. So I go to the primary care physician, and he checks me out, and he looks in my ear, and he looks down my throat, and he's like, yeah, I'm not really sure what it is, but it's some kind of an infection. I'll give you an antibiotic, go home, 48 hours, if it's not cleared up, call me back. Sounds good. I go home, sitting on the couch, watching Price is Right, love Plinko, and I get up to pee, and after I pee, I'm washing my hands, and I look at myself again, and now I don't just have this little lump on my jaw. The entire side of my face is swollen out to here, and I have a goiter growing off the side of my head, and it's freaking me out. And I don't want to go back to this doctor who obviously didn't have any real advice for me, so I called up my long-term pediatrician from when I was a kid, and I described it to him over the phone. He's like, yeah, come in and see me, but don't come through the front door. Drive around back. And I don't know if he thought I was going to scare the children or what it was, but he's like, drive around back, you'll see a little sign for my private office, come in there, knock on the door from the inside, and I'll come in. So I follow instructions, he comes in, and he takes one look at me, and he's like, well, what do you know? I'm like, I know nothing, I'm a 22-year-old idiot, you're the doctor, what do you know? And he says, I know that you have the mumps. And I say, mumps? Nobody gets the mumps anymore. It's 1988, we've eradicated the mumps. He's like, well, eradicated or not, you have them. And it's gonna last for like, somewhere between 6 and 10 days. I'm like, well, what's gonna happen to me? He's like, well, other side of your face is gonna swell, and you get a really high fever, you might hallucinate, and in some cases, it can affect your reproductive organs. I'm like, oh, something to look forward to. And so I go home again and get into the sweatpants, back on the couch, more daytime TV, and I pass out. And I run the crazy high fever, and I sleep for about a day and a half. And when I wake up, I have to pee. So I go to walk to the bathroom, and with the first step, I feel this pain in my groin like I have just been kicked in the balls by an NFL punter. It is the most excruciating, unbearable pain I've ever imagined. But I hobble my way to the bathroom, and I look down, and my left testicle has swollen to the size of a grapefruit. Not an orange, a grapefruit. And any touch or sway or bump or anything brings back the punter pain. So I decide on a strict course of immobility, and I lay on the couch and I try not to move for the next 6 or 8 days until I finally clear up. And when it's all done, I get a call from the primary care physician. And he's like, hey man, I ran into your doctor, Dr. Oldman, down at the hospital, and he told me that you had the mumps. And I'm like, yeah, how about that? And he's like, well, it's like in my defense, it's like it's been like 25, 30 years since anybody's even seen a case of the mumps. It really wasn't at the forefront of my mind. He's like, but there are some like post-mumps problems that you can have. You might want to come and get checked out. So I go in, get checked out by him again, and when he gets to checking my junk, he's like, there's definitely some damage here. And I'm like, what do you mean damage? He's like, well, from all the swelling and everything, there's a little bit of damage. You're probably going to have a really hard time conceiving children. You might want to consult a reproductive specialist when you're ready to do that. I'm like, okay. So go mumps. Gift that keeps on giving. So flash forward about 3.5 years, I get married, and me and my wife buy a house, and we're in that honeymoon phase, and we are really not paying the most attention that we should to our birth control because I'm going to have a really hard time conceiving children. And she comes to me one morning and is like, I'm pregnant. I'm like, well, what do you mean you're pregnant? How did this happen? She's like, that thing we do at night in the bed. And I'm like, I understand the biology of it, but I'm having a really hard time conceiving children. And she says, well, obviously you're not, we're going to have a baby. All right. So 9 months later, sure enough, this baby comes and changes my life for all of the best reasons you can imagine. I actually have 2 other children after that. And I guess the whole point of this story is that if you ever go to a doctor with some kind of a strange medical condition, and he blows the diagnosis like you cannot believe, and then you actually go back to him a second time, and he offers you some kind of long-term health advice, you should probably get a second opinion.